Okay, so my K-drama fans, today I'm going to be doing a recipe from Netflix's The Glory, which apparently is one of like the higher watched or higher grossing or whatnot of the K-drama series on Netflix. Which, surprising or not surprising, because the lead actress in there is one of the most famous actresses in Korea, and a little bit of a trigger warning here is that this drama is not the easiest to watch. It's a little bit of like a revenge porn. So this girl, when she was younger and she was in school and was, physically abused, was hazed, I will say that it was very hard to watch for me. So it's probably not right for everybody. But essentially what the show is about is, okay, now that she's an adult, how does her revenge plot work? How to do this adult style. Why it is so popular, other than, for the lead actress being quite famous, is just that very rarely does this happen. Like, people are mean to each other and very rarely do you get to pay them back in this way. The recipe that I'm making today is GUKBAP, which is, there's many different versions, but it's Korean soup with rice. And it's usually, like the Koreans, they'll do like a bone broth or like a chicken soup, something that's like very rich, very like, proteiny, and everything's like seeped into the soup. And then they mix it with rice. This recipe is from episode 4, when the lead actress is meeting with one of her the perpetrators, but they're exchanging information about each other, and she's just pretty much bringing them all down together. But he kind of insists on not having this be a quick transaction. He's like, let's sit down, let's eat. And then they go to this GUKBAP shop, and the one that he's eating, it definitely looks like beef, and it looks like there were noodles in it as well. And actually, like, I think a famous mukbang YouTuber actually went to this shop quite early and just ordered a ton of all of the different styles of GUKBAP. And so there's like the chicken soup version, there's the beef soup version, there can be like a pork soup version, and essentially they'll take the bones, they'll take the meat, and they'll just boil it down with, probably like some vegetables, different aromatics, and you get this like very milky, very rich broth. And then depending on where you are, a lot of the shops, they'll serve the rice actually separately, and then you'll mix the rice and the soup together. But again, the one in the show also had noodles in it. So it's going to be some meat, some noodles. I'm going to do my best on adding in, ingredients that really flavor and make a soup savory and creamy and meaty. And yeah, this will be really fun to do. So, as opposed to watching the show, it was it's very stressful. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy. You might want to add some sugar, just about half a cup of boiling water. So, a lot of you will know what Marmite is, but this one is actually unsalted. So it is what gives that really like meaty, like, how like meat kind of, if I could generalize meat kind of tastes very like, in terms of flavor, it's like deep and it's like rich and it's kind of like basic. It's not sour, but it's like, it has this like depth, right? Meat has this deep flavor in it. Almost slightly bitter sometimes, like slightly, right? This is what yeast extract tastes like. And if you go to any, like, if you go to the back of any ingredient for vegan meats. You know, a lot of the times you'll see yeast extract because it is what kind of makes something taste meaty. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to put some of this yeast extract. Just a little bit goes a long way because we have, I was about to put in a big amount, because we have some in our beef strips already. So I'm just going to do a little bit. You can actually see, stop. So now I'm gonna put in a little bit of soy sauce, just for salt. But again, you can do miso, you can do a little bit of like a soup base powder if you want. Okay. And then, kind of another secret weapon, for more milky bone broths, I finish it with just a little bit of soy milk, and that provides a little extra protein, but it also makes the broth a little bit milkier, and you don't have to add in miso for that, but it changes the broth so much. Now what I'm going to do is add in the little pieces of beef that we made. And this bit, it's just from the soy milk. You can feel free to skim that off, but this definitely looks a little bit more like bone broth because of the protein coagulating. So, see that? Yum. Wait, hold on. I forgot. So, okay, I kind of forgot about this bit, but depending on from which part of Korea that you're from, like Seoul might do like a beef variety of this, whereas in the south they might do pork, or if you're near the water you might do more seafood. So I saw a version of this done with oysters, which I used to really like seafood. So our best sub for oysters is just going to be some mushrooms. So I'm just going to pop those in. It's just super, super fine, and I barely need to go down on the blade because it's just so super, super, super sharp. So a big thank you to Nakano for sending me over some of their gorgeous knives. This is their Gyoto knife that is Damascus steel, and it has chestnut wood as a handle, and it was just fabulous to cut with. Everything was so sharp and so amazing. So I will put links to their knives and their site down below, and I also have a special promo code for you all.
Pretty much just glides.
So with this rice, I actually cooked it and then I cooled it down first because that will harden up the rice kernels a little bit. It helps to absorb some of that soup and some of that flavor. But then also when you're pouring hot soup on top of, you know, colder rice, it's going to retain some of that like firmness and some of that texture. So normally they put some soup down on the bottom first, and that just starts that absorbing process. And then they'll add on, you know, the layers of meat and whatnot. And I'm gonna go quite casually because I'll put the vegetables and the meat on here. So this is how this bit works. So you put some in on the bottom, some of that absorption process will have already started, but I guess if you put in all of this soup at once, it doesn't absorb as well, or maybe it heats it up too much. So what they do is they'll pour a little bit of soup, pour it out, pour a little bit more soup, and they'll do this a couple of times. And I think that just heats up the rice, and then just, yeah, it's like better for maybe absorption. Looks delicious, and it's like perfect. It's like a perfect meal for like market day, or like usually like ladies at the market, they might have this on like, you know, like a nice cold day. And it's just, you know, it's rice, it's your protein, it's your vegetables, all in one like hot and hearty thing. So that really works. The little beefy pieces, the rice, which is still like holding its shape and still has some firmness to it, which is really nice. But you know, I could see people liking porridge as well and having it be softer, but so we have some of that. Just like all of our vegetables, our mushrooms, our little piece of meat as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you do end up making this, please do tag me on social media. And if you want to find more ways to support the channel, we have a Patreon as well, so they're all in the description box. I will see you all again next time. Bye.